Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So today our group will be present about sport policy and sport administration. I hope all of you guys will be focused on the lessons today. Okay, this is our group members. For our first presenter will be Nabilah Diyanah binti Hazahar. For the second presenter will be Muhammad Kharash Firdaus bin Abdul Aziz. And the last presenter will be Danial Mustaqim bin Abdul Muhaimin. This is what we're gonna learn for today's lessons.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Diyanah and I will be the first presenter. So before we go further about today's chapter, I want all of you to acknowledge first the three things here, which is the first is sport policy, second is sport administration, the third one is sport act. So we go first to the sport policy. Okay, alright. As we know that sport policy in the Malaysian National Sport Policy, whereby that it is an outline of the direction which a sport should take according by the policymaker. Meaning that it is one of the guidelines for sport organisation, NGOs and sport association in Malaysia that need to be followed so that the main goals of the government in the sport policy is achieved. So a simple sentence here is that the sport policy was established the safe, diverse and competitive communicate through government effort. It described the function, priority, objective of each NGO's government and others. So the second point here is the sport administration, which it refers to sport organization, association, and also or private club. So the example that make the sport administration is National Sport Council, Ministry of Youth and Sport, Institute Sukan Negara and many other associations, and also the private club. So all of that is actually had been established by the government so that in the future there will be someone or any organization that can organize any sport program. So that is why in nowadays era we can see that this organization, association and also the private club is trying to help an athlete to develop their sport programs. And also we can see that the organization putting an effort in improving the performance of athlete in any kind of sport. So the last point in this element, which is the Sport Act. So the Sport Act is referred to the collection of legal rules and regulation that govern the work of sport. So the Sport Act that already established by the government is the National Sport Institute Act 2011, Nation Sport Council of Malaysia 1971, Akta Perbanan Stadium Malaysia 2010, and also Sports Development Act 1997. So in this law of sport was established under the Ministry Youth and Sport. So this is the three element. So let's move to the next slide. So after we acknowledge shortly about the three element, now we will cover in the National Sport Policy 1988. So the National Sport Policy is a sport development policy toward the formation of sport culture and the strengthening of national integration through the involvement of the community as a whole. Okay, and the achievement of the excellence at the international level. So as we can see that sport is an effective agent of unity for the society. So in this perspective, Malaysia is among the countries that have proven successful in using sport as a platform to strengthen the integration of one Malaysia. One Malaysia that transcend the boundaries of religion, race and also the politics. And that is why before it been achieved, the government already established the National Sport Policy, which has been enacted on 29th of January 1988. So the rationale for the national sport policy is that this policy is applicable to all types of communities in Malaysia, where it includes sport programs for all and also high performance sport. So its formulation is based on the national development plan, where sport are given the same importance, recognition and encouragement as other social sector to achieve the goals of nation development and sustainable stability. Okay, next is that it also includes the sport programs for all, as well as high performance sport and mass sport. So the high performance sport that we mentioned here is that it is a competitive sport that is practiced at the both the national and the international level in compliance with the rules and regulation of the International Sport Federation and also the Olympic committees to decide the winner. So simple word here is that high performance sport, or call it as elite sport, is a sport played at the highest level of competition with the aim of winning prestigious competition. So moreover, it was also ingrained in the nation priority to independence when Malaysian athlete first competed in the Olympic Games in Melbourne, Australia in 1956. So that is for the high performance. So how about the mass sport? So mass sport is an activity related to physical recreation and it is a sport that occurs spontaneously or is conducted with the aim of gaining a wider participation and not solely for competition, either at the national or international level. Okay, so for this slide, we will see a bit about before and after the amendment 2009. So we go through the policy 1988. So the aim of the national sport policy is to develop an active, healthy and fit society through sport. So that is why we can observe that government with the other sport organisation had done many events to Malaysian people by physically, such as program Sukan Negara, KBS Fit and Active and many more. So certain of this example is one of the proof that can help the Malaysian people become more healthier and fit. By what? By continuously making a sport and fit programs to the communities so that it will help to decrease the number of health problems in Malaysia. Oh, and all of my explanation here just now is actually covered a bit about the objective in National Sport Policy 1988, which contain of 4 objectives, which is the first is to form a healthy society, disciplined and united society through greater participation. Second is to provide opportunities and facilities. Third is to develop and improve the knowledge and practice of sport. And lastly is to achieve excellence to the highest level with a pure sportsmanship. Then after that, the amendment was made after the government realized that this 4 objectives in the sport policy 1988 is not enough. So that is why the amendment is on 2009, which there are 8 objectives for the national sport policy. So we will go through one by one in the next slide. So the objective of the first national sport policy after the amendment 2009 is firstly to strengthen the culture of participation in sport among the community. So in the first objective, many sectors are actually involved in empowering this sport, and one of it is the youth and sport department, whereby that they are responsible for ensuring that sport culture is inculcated to become the practice of people's life in a day through sport for all. So the other sectors like Ministry of Education, where they're also responsible to make the student feel interest to involve in sport activities, and also the Ministry of Higher Education, where they need to increase the roles to cultivate sport among institution, IPTA or IPTS. So for the second objective is to increase sport knowledge and practice toward creating sport culture among the people. So through this second objective, it is clear that there will be many or various organizations will involve in this development of national sports and also working with the mass media. And moreover, the Youth and Sport Department also provides expert manpower for the development for participants, for coaches, and also administrator for handling sport programs for all. So for the third objective is to provide career opportunities. So whereby in this objective, it encourages wider participation in sport activities at every level to form a disciplined and united society. So for the fourth objective is to provide incentive and career opportunities to meet the basic need of individuals through sport. So in what way? Okay, one of the way is to be recognized and provide incentive commensurate with the contributions made by athlete, coaches, and also sport administrator. And not only that, but the Public Service Commission should give priority to the national athlete in having a permanent position in the public sector. And in the same, it same goes like the government. They can offer scholarship to for the outstanding athlete to further their studies at the IPT, any IPT. So the fifth objective is to strengthen sport organization by providing sport facilities for needs at all level. So as stipulated by the Ministry of Youth and Sport, where they prepare a 10 years action plan for the development of sport infrastructure based on the strategy of sport programs for all and high performance sport that cover all sections of society. And it same goes like other sport agency and organization where they have their or responsibility to ensure the coordination of sport facilities to all communities. So for the sixth objective is to strengthen sport bodies and organization with professional governance practice. In this sixth objective, leadership in developing sport organization need to be strengthened to improve the quality of national sport in a transparent manner. So meaning that sport associations at all levels should be governed by qualified person such as like in National Sport Council and National Sport Institute that provide a system of services that can build expert manpower for the development of having a high performing athlete, coaches, administrator, and many more in for the sport programs for all. So the seventh objective is to achieve excellence by developing sport as an industry. So in this objective, there are various sectors that will assist the government in developing sport as an industry, such as like government bodies itself, non-government, and the private sector where they are responsible in ensuring a suitable environment to establish a sport industry in Malaysia. So the last objective in this National Sport Policy Amendment 2009 is to achieve national and international level excellence with a genuine sporting spirit. So for the last objective, it gives a much focus on the priority of identify types of sport and event that have a high chance for successful internationally. Even the Ministry of Education needs to create a strong organizational structure to play a more effective role in producing many healthy communities and also talented athletes. So that is all for the 8th objective national sport policy. So let's move to the next slide. Alright. Now for this slide, I will be cover about the Malaysian planning starting in 1966 until 2005, whereby that it is the first national sport policy in Malaysia. Alright, the Malaysian plan is 5 years planning, and after 5 years, the Malaysian planning will be changed or reuse back the previous plan. So right now, Malaysia is using 11 Malaysian planning in terms of sport. So we go first with our second Malaysian planning, which is in 1971 until 1975. So the plan for the second Malaysian was established in order to coordinate the activity of sport association and provide training facilities for improve the quality of sport. Alright, during the second Malaysian plans means the government established the National Sport Council because they want the National Sport Council be the main organisation of sport that help to coordinate and organize everything that relate with sport association. So in the second plan, it is not actually focused on sport itself, but it also focus and promote the culture activities. So they will be implement other project to help the youth. So in other words, is that second Malaysian plan here is that the plan made so that it can focus on the progress of the youth in being active in any type of sport and culture activities. And that is why the government introduced the National Sport Council of Malaysia Act 1971, whereby that the National Sport Council has been established to coordinate various activities in sport organisation so that it can provide training facilities to improve the quality of sport. So next is the third Malaysian plan, which the plan formed in 1976 until 1980. According to this plan, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport offer a numerous facility to enable youth to become more active, responsible and self-reliant. So there have several multi-purpose complex established in all state capital except in Kota Baru, Kelantan and also Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. So the reason for both display is because the difficulties to access into the site acquisition. So this plan will provide a new leadership, course, the sport and also other cultural event, a model citizen of Malaysia. So meaning that during the third Malaysian plan, multi-purpose center and facility be set up for youth development programs, which they be given priority in this Malaysian plan, which it provide youth with opportunities to acquire leadership training, expertise in a range of professionals. So if we can see in the slide, the establishment of the National Cultural Complex will be a major project due to this plan. This is because to recognize the national culture and also to enrich the knowledge aspect on the country's heritage. So as we can observe before this, which in Malaysian, they have different ethnic groups in regions such as Malay, Chinese, India, and many more. So this ethnic will encourage through the culture to entreat each other and in the same time acknowledge the culture too. And lastly is that sport facility will be improved and expanded, including hotels, playing field, and adequate sport facilities as to attract Malaysian people to become more fit and healthy in a healthy lifestyle. So that is for the third plan, Malaysian plan. So next we move to the fourth Malaysian plan. So that is for the third Malaysian planning. So now let's move to the fourth Malaysian planning. So next, now we will go through for the fourth Malaysian plan, which is it has been formed starting on 1981 until 1985. So as a result, the growth of sport is aimed at creating a healthier society as well as fostering national unity by according to the fourth Malaysian plan. Furthermore, it contributes to improving Malaysians' reputation on a national and international level in any tournament. Thus, essentially, the Ministry of Youth and Sport and the National Sport Council must operate international standard programs because sport organizations have been able to benefit from government financial assistance, which they have financial assistance from the government. And because of that, this sport organization, association have the right, or in other words, we call it as the green light to choose different types of activity that can use or make any sport event while it also can help promoting healthy culture and national unity. Okay, furthermore, the fourth Malaysian plan include a comprehensive programs with the government continuing to enable people from all kind of communities of life to participate in sport, which is in Malaysian. So sport facilities in the state capital and small town were prioritized. So if we can observe that the National Sport Council will intensify its activity during the period, which is the government give financial assistance to the specific sport organisation. About a sum of 9.1 billion is allocated for the expansion and improvement of existing facilities at the Kampung Padan Multipurpose Centre, Stadium Negara, and also Stadium Merdeka in Kuala Lumpur, and to meet the cost of preliminary works for the establishment of National Sport Institute, and also the construction of multipurpose complex to cater for both sport and cultural activities will be continued in the FMP. So that is all for the fourth Malaysian plan. So now we will go to the next Malaysian plan, which is the fifth Malaysian plan. So next is the fifth Malaysian plan, which is from 1986 to 1990. So the fifth Malaysian plan was implemented. So as a result, new concepts such as like youth engagement and high success in sport were introduced as the development of sport and leisure in the country in the previous Malaysia program, which was the fourth Malaysian plan. So the national sport policy was built on the foundation of this true principle. So that is why in Malaysian, we have the National Sport Council, which is the MSN, has reactivated in early 1982 to take on the role that the government has delegated to the MSN National Sport Council. So the MSN took over effort in making a high performance sport, especially competitive sport that are introduced, while also helping to raise the Malaysian names in the international. So as a result, as a part of the during the fifth Malaysian plan, National Sport Council, which is the MSL, will work with OCM, which is Olympic Council Malaysia, to prepare athletes from different national sport organisation in preparation for international competition. So as a result, the National Sport Council, the MSN, will work to improve non-competitive sport and encourage sport in general in the fifth Malaysian fifth Malaysian plans. So during the fifth Malaysian plan phases here, that the NSC's National Sport Council Sportman Development Programs will be introduced to allow for comprehensive long-term training of talented athletes. So the priority of the participation is more on focusing in the international competition. And so that is for the fifth Malaysian plan. And so that is all from me. We'll move to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Nabilah Diyanah, for her presentation. Now, I will continue my presentation on the 6th Malaysian Plan. Okay, so 6th Malaysian Plan, which is from 1991 till 1996. This plan is more focusing on the high performance sports and also mass participation sport. So, high performance sport is about the elite sport at a highest level of competition, which is international level, or in a simple term, is professional sport. For example, like SEA Games, Olympic, Commonwealth Games, and more. Then, for mass participation sports, it is about the sporting event or program that many people participate, for example, like Fit Malaysia. Okay, so in the 6th Malaysian Plan, National Sport Council basically started to prepare a national team for a national competition, as Malaysia are developing a high performance sport by doing the effective training, and they also do the observation by the high personnel. They are monitored by the Ministry of Youth and Sport to ensure the performance are comparable to the international level. Then for mass participation, they are implement a talent development program and also develop fitness program for community for them to stay healthy and active. Alright, in this slide, we will tell you about the 7th Malaysian Plan, which is from 1996 till 2000. In this plan, it is about the Sport Development Act 1997, which has been introduced during the Malaysian Plan. So, this act is about to promote and facilitate the development and also administration of sports in Malaysia. There are 7 parts in the Sport Development Act 1997. So, the first one is a preliminary. This part is about the title of the act and also the interpretation. The second part is about the sport development. In this part, it is about the guidelines to sport development, the development of the sport science, on how to apply it in the association, and the association that need the consultation with the minister. And then number 3, it is about the Olympic Council of Malaysia. This part, it is tell about the National Olympic Committee and the application of the act to the Olympic Council. Not to forget, this part also tells you about the Paralympic Council of Malaysia and also Malaysia Deaf Sports Association. Then number 4 is about the administration of act. This part is about the power of the commissioner to register sport bodies, disclosure of information, and appointment of commissioner, and also direction by the minister. Number 5 is about the registration and supervision of sport bodies. This part tells you about how to register as a sport bodies, how to manage it under the act, and a lot of information about to conduct sport bodies under Sport Development Act 1997. Number 6, it is about the Sport Dispute Committee. It tells about the establishment of the Sport Dispute Committee itself. And number 7 is the miscellaneous. This part is about the approval for hosting the national and international competition, the regulation, the guideline for the competition, and more. Alright, so we will proceed to the next slide. Alright, in this slide, this is about the 8th Malaysian Plan, which is from 2001 till 2005. This plan is where the focus is on hosting the SEA Games in 2001 and also the Far East and South Pacific Paralympic Games in 2006. The participation for the SEA Games, 35 venue and sport equipment will be upgraded and purchased based on the international specification. The preparation for the athlete by doing the specialized training are just to make sure the successful of participation from Malaysia in terms of the international standardized competition. For Paralympic Games, the preparation also by build a special facility for only disabled sports. And then for the mass participation sport, in this plan, Malaysia continue to promote to encourage Malaysian people to be active in sport because to have a healthy lifestyle in community in Malaysia. Are you guys still with me? Okay, we will proceed to the next slide. Alright, this is about the 9th Malaysian Plan, which is from 2006 till 2010. This plan is where it is focused more to enhance youth and women in sport. Malaysia also more focusing to develop a young talent from the grassroots level by doing more program of sport developing the athlete to become a high performance sport. So for example, like MSSD, MSSM, that is from the school level, and also in the university also, it has a Masum, Sukib. Alright, we also can see that Malaysia want to make Malaysian people to become more active and maintaining their healthy lifestyle by build up 13 sport complex for the community to use. And the private sector also helps to provide a sport facility for sport and recreation program. This is the 10th Malaysian plan, which is from 2011 till 2015. Okay, so this plan where Malaysia continue to focus to make Malaysian people to become active in sport. Then, by using the sport platform itself as the social cohesion and unity among the races in Malaysia. I think you have heard a tagline. People who active in sport are the people who is proactive and healthy. So we can see many sport programs that have been held, such as Fit Malaysia, One Student, One Sport, and Sport for All. It's shown that this example show how important of this sport activity to Malaysian people, as Malaysian are focusing to make Malaysian people to become active in sport. Alright, and the last one is the 11th Malaysian Plan, which is from 2016 till 2020, where for the sport, they focus on two things, which is to achieve a universal access to quality healthcare and intensify sports to foster unity among races in Malaysia. So we will go through first on the achieve universal access to quality healthcare. So the first one is the increase targeted support, especially for communities with limited access to services. As the Malaysia efforts to make the communities active in sport, government increase the support in the area that has a limited access to the sport services. For example, Ipoh Perak, where they upgrade and add more sport facilities around the area of JBS. So the second one is improving delivery system for the better health outcomes, where the Ministry of Youth and Sports they use social media platform to share many information about health, about sports, about the program they offer, and many more. But using this is shows that the delivery system to the communities for them to aware about the health itself. The third one is expanding the capacity to increase access to healthcare services. For example, many hospital and clinic were built to increase this capacity so the communities can access the healthcare services easily. And then last one is intensify cooperation between the public, the private, and the NGO sectors to raise health awareness. Next point is the intensify sports for a healthy lifestyle and foster unity among races in Malaysia. So the first point is encourage participant in mass sports at all level of society to cultivate sports. As we have explained to you, what is mass participation? So this show that government trying to encourage participant at all level of society to participate, to join every program of sport, so that every people is active in joining any of healthy program. Next is developing youth leadership in sport. So the government also try to put a program or to help and a program of youth where they want to develop a youth leadership or the youth talent in sport, where we can find a new talent from the grassroots level. So that government put a lot of effort on these programs and always have a program every year, every month. And then lastly is a develop high performance athlete to achieve a global reputation. Alright, so this is about the National Sport Convention that have been held at Langkawi in 1996. So this convention was officiated by our former Prime Minister Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad on 11th April 1996. The purpose of this convention is to reform and improve for sports in Malaysia. Tun Dr. Mahathir itself believe this convention can do the reform as many sport enthusiasts are coming to this convention to discuss about the resolution. Some of the content has been discussed in this convention is the role of the Olympic Council Malaysia, OCM, and National Sports Organisation. And then also the role of public and private sectors in sport itself. So from this convention, we can see that the content of the discussion will bring forward and it put into the Sport Development Act 1997. We can see the successful from this convention is to bring that can bring up the sport development in Malaysia. Alright, so in this slide, this is about the Malaysian National Education Philosophy 1979. So this philosophy is ongoing effort towards further developing potential of individuals in integrated and holistic manners, which is the student itself. And by this philosophy, it is to produce students who are intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and physically balanced. So the students must balance of all these criteria. And I want to focus on sports, which is sports offer lots of things in education for students. So what does it mean by sport offers a lot of things in education? Students can be developed by their physical and also their moral qualities. And then by sports also, we can conducive the environment for integrating the various races in Malaysia, which means that in sports, the students can have a good communication with their friends, even though if their friends have different races, different religions, but by sports they can become one and they will become unite. And that is for the Malaysians National Education Philosophy 1979. Alright, so in this slide, it tells about the effects on Ministry of Education in National Sports Convention Langkawi 1996, which is the effects is sport educated students, prepare students for after school sports, curriculum time management, co-curricular sport program, and basic managed programs in school. So the effects is on the Ministry of Education, where they take a big steps towards sports into the education itself, where they apply and do many initiative to the students, where they want to make the sport as one of the education. As well, the students can enjoy themselves and they also can improve not only education but also in sports. So many programs and activity that Ministry of Education do, such as the co-curricular activity in school, held a school sport competition that can go to the region and state level. And by this activity, the students can learn about their time management. They also can prepare and develop themselves, their career after school, build up their leadership skill, and much more skill that when they can balance their intelligence and also their physical. By doing this at a school level, this mass participation sport and a high performance sport can be achieved. So this is some of the initiative that Ministry of Education provided, which is MSSM, Masum, and Sports School. So MSSM, Majlis Sukan Malaysia, was established in 1968. This MSSM has mission, which is to produce high potential elite athlete through domestic and international sporting program. There was a lot of sports involved and a lot of domestic and international sport program, such as MSSD tournament and MSSM tournament for international level, which has ASEAN Sports School Games under schools. Then for the second one is Masum, MASUM stands for University of Malaysia Sport Council. It was established in 1974 and it was an initiative for a university students where this MASUM become the university sport official that hold the sport competition among the local university. From 1975, a sporting event has organized among this university until now. Last one is the sports school. The most popular sports school that we know is SSBJ and SSTMI, Sports School Bukit Jalil and Tunku Ismail Crown Sports School. This sports school established to develop young elite athlete to achieve the high performance sports. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Danial Mustaqim. Now I'm going to continue our presentation about sport tourism. So what is sport tourism? Sport tourism defined as traveling from other region, country, state to another in order to watch a sport competition or game or to join them. For example, if you are a football lover, then you go to stadium to support your favorite teams or club. Technically, you are actually doing a sport tourism. Next, for our country, Malaysia, the successful organisation of the Commonwealth Game in Kuala Lumpur in 1998 was an eye-opener because this is the first time when Malaysia hosting an international game sporting event. This will give an exposure to our sport industry and also sports governing bodies to create a new experience for our country in managing sporting events. Lastly, we know that the sport tourism industry is increasing rapidly because based on the research, we know that the flow of international tourist expenditure is the export of service in the calculation of gross domestic product. In statistics show that service trade deficit is widening. This sport tourism industry rising from RM11 billion in 2014 to RM19 billion in 2016. Now we continue to our case study. So the case study that we have choose from the article of Harian Metro is about, we know that Malaysia already have a sports school named Sekolah Sukan Bukit Jalil. But senior lecturer from Faculty of Sports Science and Recreation, UiTM Shah Alam, Muhammad Sadiq Mustafa, expressed his feelings and also opinions about this is the time where Malaysia should have a sport university. Because when we have a sport university, there's a lot to offer in our sports industry, such as we can have an educator to teach sport and also coaches and improving and create more entrepreneurs in sport and other sport science fields such as physiotherapists. If the university are created or exist in our country, this will be giving a good impact to the student who are studying or did not interested in academics but they are good in sports. At the same time, they can equivalent their sport and also study in this university. Next, for our second case study, it is about Letua de Langkawi. So this article we got from Free Malaysia Today. In this article, Tun Dr. Mahathir, who is also Langkawi Members of Parliament, during his opening speech ceremony, he said that he saw an opportunity in this sport tourism industry, and he also expressed that he knew that Langkawi is a great location to combine sports and also tourism. Langkawi also had hosted to numerous international sporting events such as rugby, sailing, beach volleyball, dragon boat race, tennis, and also marathons. And we also know that before this, Langkawi also have hosted uh, a competition named Ironman. Mahathir, Tun Dr. Mahathir also said this is not only building our nation but contribute positively to the local economic development of Langkawi and Malaysia in general. In conclusion, sport policy, administration, sport act are important in building sport industry in our country. By following national sports policy and Malaysia plan for sport industry, we can achieve success in sport education, economy, and nation building. We hope that our classmates understand what this topic is all about. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Thank you from us.